Hello, my name is Bradley Bailyn, and I'm a bankruptcy attorney here in New York City. I would like to take a moment today to discuss with you the kind of debts that you might have and the kind of options we might have for dealing with those debts. Basically, there's two types of debts that people tend to come in with. The first is secured debts, and the second is unsecured debts. A secured debt is a situation where the organization that lent you the money has the right to take back what you purchased with the money. The most common example of that is a mortgage on a house where the bank lent you the money to buy the house in the first place, or they lent you money using the house as collateral, and if you don't pay for it, then they're going to take it away from you. Other options are your car, of course, where you have a car note. You've leased a car, you've purchased a car, and if you stop paying it, then they can take your car away. Also, sometimes you might have a small business and you might have bought equipment in your personal name, and they may have a lien on that equipment, which they can take back if you don't make the payments on it. So when we're dealing with secured loans, there's going to be two options that we have. The first option is to just cancel the contract and give it back to them. And by the way, this includes your lease on your home as well. So the first option is just to cancel it, give them back whatever collateral they have, and walk away from the whole thing. The second option is you actually like what you have and you want to keep it. You just need to figure out better payment terms to do it with. So in a case like that, bankruptcy requires the lender to negotiate with you in good faith. It doesn't require them to just give you anything in the world that you want in terms of a new deal, but it requires them to negotiate in a lot better faith than they're typically going to do outside of the bankruptcy process. So the most common reason that people who own homes file bankruptcy is to renegotiate the mortgage, to stop the bank from asking them to pay huge amounts of money right now in order to get the payments back on track and allow them to make a smaller payment over a longer period of time and make it possible to keep the house. So that's secured debts in a nutshell. The second thing that we are now going to get to is unsecured debts. Unsecured debts is a much larger spectrum of potential debts, and I find this whole area of bankruptcy law to be fascinating. The options that you have are unprecedented. One of the things people come to deal with is personal guarantees, where you've given a guarantee on your commercial lease or on someone's car or whatever the case may be. And I have a lot of people who come in who have never had a money problem in their life, but they signed a personal guarantee knowingly or unknowingly for someone, and now they're getting sued and they need to get out of that personal liability. So they're going to need to do a bankruptcy and hopefully be able to deal with that personal liability that way. Next thing is there may be a lawsuit against you, and not all lawsuits, but most lawsuits can be dealt with much, much faster in bankruptcy court, and you can ultimately get rid of them that way, because if it's determined in a more speedy trial in bankruptcy court that you owe money, then if you can pay it to some extent, great. If not, then it gets dismissed as part of the bankruptcy. Again, not every lawsuit. There's exceptions for fraud and for drunk driving and personal injury and other things that are repulsive to the public morality. But typically, it really helps with lawsuits. Of course, the most common unsecured debt that people have is credit card debt. And that's the most common debt that we dismiss a lot of times entirely using the bankruptcy process. So if there's any questions that you would like to ask me about, I don't charge in the bankruptcy context for giving me a call. Typically, if you hire me, it's going to end up being flat rate. So if you have questions, please feel free to give me a call and let's see what we can do for you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.